Texarkana, 1946. Picture a small border town that sits right on the line between Texas and Arkansas. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other by name, where folks left their doors unlocked, and life moved at a pretty chill pace. But then, that spring, everything changed when a phantom arrived. It all kicked off on a cool February night in 1946. Two teenagers, Jimmy Hollis and Mary Jean Larry, parked their car on a lonely dirt road known as Lover's Lane. They were out past midnight with the radio softly humming their favorite tunes. It was the perfect spot for kids to chat, share sweet kisses, and dream about the future. But that night, an unseen presence was lurking, watching their every move. Can you imagine the tension? Something sinister was about to unfold, and no one had a clue. A man stepped out of the darkness, wearing a white sack over his head with cut-out holes for eyes and a mouth. He carried a pistol. He ordered them out of the car, his voice low, emotionless. He beat Jimmy unconscious and attacked Mary Jean before vanishing into the woods. Both teens survived. Barely. They described their attacker as a phantom, a man without a face. The press quickly dubbed it the Moonlight Murders, and the townsfolk were left absolutely terrified, calling him the Phantom Killer. Can you even imagine living in a place where such a chilling thing happened? It's a haunting story that still sends shivers down my spine, doesn't it? Just picture it. The fear gripping that tight-knit community, everyone peeking out their windows, looking over their shoulders, and whispering about who could be lurking in the shadows. I mean, that's a nightmare scenario, right? It's no wonder the legend of the Phantom Killer still haunts people today. The press quickly dubbed it the Moonlight Murders, and the townsfolk were left absolutely terrified, calling him the Phantom Killer. Can you even imagine living in a place where such a chilling thing happened? It's a haunting story that still sends shivers down my spine, doesn't it? Just picture it. The fear gripping that tight-knit community, everyone peeking out their windows, looking over their shoulders, and whispering about who could be lurking in the shadows. I mean, that's a nightmare scenario, right? It's no wonder the legend of the Phantom Killer still haunts people today. Panic swept through Texarkana like a wildfire, and honestly, it was something straight out of a movie. For the first time in ages, folks were locking their doors and checking their windows like it was the end of the world. You wouldn't believe it, stores couldn't keep guns, locks, and ammo on the shelves. It was pure chaos. Farmers, usually so laid back, were setting up traps around their homes, just trying to feel safe in their own backyards. Can you imagine that? And the teenagers? They completely stopped hanging out at night, opting for the safety of their homes instead. The town, once so peaceful, now felt like a pressure cooker, right? You could hear the sound of barking dogs, the clink of window latches, and those hushed whispers that seemed to echo everywhere. Everyone was on edge, wondering who might be next. It was like the whole town was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. You could almost feel the tension in the air. It was thick, almost suffocating. What do you think? How would you feel in a place like that? Then, April 14th, Betty Jo Booker, a 15-year-old saxophonist, played her weekly gig at a local VFW club. Around 1:30 a.m., her friend Paul Martin came to pick her up. The next morning, Paul's body was found lying on a dirt road, shot 4 times. 2 miles away, searches found Betty Jo's body behind a tree. She'd been shot twice, and her saxophone was missing. It was as if the killer wanted to taunt them. He left clues, a car parked too neatly, tire marks, cigarette butts, but never enough to follow. The newspapers fed the hysteria, printing headlines that screamed, "The Phantom Killer strikes again." The final confirmed attack came May 3rd. Virgil Starks, a farmer, sat in his living room reading the newspaper while his wife Katie did chores in another room. 2 gunshots blasted through the window. Virgil was hit twice in the back of the head. Katie ran to help but was shot in the face. Bleeding and half blind, she somehow escaped through the back door and ran barefoot to a neighbor's house for help. By the time police arrived, the Phantom was gone, but his muddy footprints led back toward the woods. The press quickly dubbed it the Moonlight Murders, and the townsfolk were left absolutely terrified, calling him the Phantom Killer. Can you even imagine living in a place where such a chilling thing happened? It's a haunting story that still sends shivers down my spine, doesn't it? Just picture it. The fear gripping that tight-knit community, everyone peeking out their windows, looking over their shoulders, and whispering about who could be lurking in the shadows. I mean, that's a nightmare scenario, right? It's no wonder the legend of the Phantom Killer still haunts people today. The press quickly dubbed it the Moonlight Murders, and the townsfolk were left terrified, calling him the Phantom Killer. I mean, can you imagine living in a place where such a thing happened? It's a haunting story that still sends shivers down my spine, doesn't it? The fear must have gripped that community, with everyone looking over their shoulders, wondering who could be lurking in the shadows. What a nightmare. Imagine the scene. Detectives chasing down tips that led to dead ends, feeling like they were playing a game of cat and mouse, but the mouse was winning every single time. You could practically feel the frustration building in the air, right? The pressure was on, and they were dead set on cracking this case, but it felt like they were just chasing shadows, and the clock was ticking. What a wild ride! The town lived in terror for months. Curfews were enforced. Movie theaters warned people not to sit by windows. Newlyweds slept with guns under their pillows. And then, as suddenly as it began, the killings stopped. The Phantom vanished. Police suspected a man named Yoel Swinney, a petty criminal caught stealing cars that summer. His wife claimed he was the Phantom. She gave a detailed confession, but under Texas law, a wife's testimony couldn't be used against her husband. When questioned, Swinney never confessed, and no physical evidence tied him to the murders. He was sentenced to life in prison for car theft, not murder. And yet, after he was locked up, the killings never happened again. Was Swinney the Phantom? Or did the real killer just stop? Over the decades, new theories emerged. Some believed the Phantom was a local man with military experience, skilled with firearms and stealth. Others thought he was a traveling drifter who slipped through town and disappeared into history. One rumor even suggested the Phantom was a police officer, someone who knew the town's movements too well. The mystery burned itself into Texarkana's identity. Every April, the town held a drive-in screening of The Town That Dreaded Sundown, the 1976 film inspired by the case, and eerie enough, the screening takes place at the same park near where the first victims were found. No one was ever convicted. No one ever truly knew who he was or why he killed. But his legend remains, faceless, cold, and silent. They called him the Phantom for a reason. Because when you think you see him, he's already gone.